Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Stationeers. So, I have a rather large project that's going to cause me to rip up a good bit of the base planned. Oh boy. Alright. Kaba and LTL King mentioned that I really should be controlling the lights based upon the level of the elevator. And that's exactly what I'm going to intend to do. So basically, if the elevator's on floor 3, the floor 3 panels and lights will turn on. If it's on floor 5 and floor, so on and so forth. So in order to do this, we need a few things. First things first, let's see what we already have. We have Logic I/O, that's good. Let me put away some of my items that I won't need, because I'm going to need to free up some bag space. So I'm not going to need my lights or glass sheets. Probably don't need a console either. We are going to need some logic memory. I do have one of those already. I'm not going to need switches. We are going to need the math units, which is the logic processor. And I'm going to need some power controllers. So let's get... for now, we'll set one floor up. I don't want to get too complicated immediately. Power controller. Now, we are going to need to shove some solder in there. Alright, let's turn this jazz off. And stack up the arch walls. Just to stay clean. Alright. Now this is going to become a little convoluted and complicated really quickly. Basically, I have to isolate all of the consoles and lights here into one APC network, which is a little complex because previously we had put these lights on their own on their own network. So basically a little rewiring is going to need to be done. Now if you take a look, the purple wire is what we're looking at, and in fact I should probably dye my stuff purple. So let's go and do that real quick. And I'm almost certainly going to need more cables, but we'll just start off with what I got now. So the way this will work is we are going to slightly reroute power. Power comes, if you remember correctly, out of this transformer here. Power comes out of that transformer and goes straight into the consoles here. The as you can see, the purple cable there. And then these run all the way over and then down, and then this cable that runs down powers the filters and the like, and also the vents. So essentially, we need to make sure that the filters and vents and that kind of stuff have power immediately, which means rewiring a whole lot of stuff. But this is probably a much nicer way of going about powering a base, and that's why I'm happy putting in the elbow grease to get it done. So what I'm doing right now is let's have an alternative cable path so I don't cut power for too long, because right now we're pulling in oxygen and nitrogen and X from Martian Atmo, and I want to keep doing that. So this cable here is connected to the filters, and we'll run it along the wall. Just like that. So now if I cut it here, we should not have an interruption. In fact, everything down here should still be on, and it is. Alright, good. Now if I cut it here, The console should be off. The monitors, rather, should be off. But everything else should still be on. The filters and the like. If I've assessed this correctly. So let's take a look, see if that's true. Oh, no, filters are off. So, this purple cable here... Oh, filters are somewhat on. Okay, so what's going on here is... This purple cable brings power... I don't know what's going on there. And then this cable should run to these filters, but they don't. Alright, let's dig up some flooring and figure out what's going on here.
Light off.
So here is a cable. Yeah, as you can see, this is a relatively large project that gets messy really quick. And as you can see, there's some old cables. Let me just dig up all the floor so we can see. There's some old cabling that isn't exactly all that efficient. Come on. All right, let's get down a floor so I can actually see what I'm doing.
Light on.
Ooh, I can't. Yeah, there's no entry to the basement from here. I'm gonna have to go around. Alright, so this is a better view. So, all my filters on this side are on. Why they're off on this side? Ah, there it is. There is the culprit. Because all the other filters are on except for this one because I cut the cable wrong. Wow, one little simple cable cut, and that's all that it took. Done. Alright. So now, the monitors are isolated from the cables. Meaning that all of the filters are not based upon, won't be based upon the level of the base. And that way, we continue to run the, the base filtration regardless of what floor we're on, which is exactly how we want it to act. So let's go back up here and continue this crazy nonsense. So, now that that is separated out, what we need to do is put an APC. Let's take a quick look. The data here. Alright, so is that the battery data? That battery data should be rerouted as well. Let's go ahead and do that. That battery data is going to be needed, not behind the APC. So it would be best if the battery data was connected like that. And then this circuit housing here, likewise, should be treated the same way. So this will be a three-way corner, and then... And this is definitely a little bit of a pain of a project, but once it's done, it will be very cool. Normally, I wouldn't undertake such a project that is so, at least temporarily, destructive to the to everything, but this will be cool. So now, if you see, all of the monitors here are wired up together. I'm going to remove the pumps. The pump cabling from this wire network because it won't be on this wire network in the future. All the atmospheric functions need to be on a separate network, so that's going to have to come from this cable. So there's sort of two purple cables here, but yeah, here's one of them. And then on top of that, what's crazy is we spent so much time running these orange cables, but in order for this to really work, we need to put this on the same purple network. Or otherwise I'm going to have to double up my logic, which seems unnecessary. Oops, I meant for that to just be one corner. And in a way, this ends up being a little bit cleaner too, which works for me. So all of the lights here are going to end up on the Atmo network, which may or may not be a good decision. It's just, it is what it is. So let's rewire it a bit. And these lights these lights will be off initially because we're not running power to them. And then these monitors that I've built here no longer have purpose. They don't, in fact, need to even be installed. Oh, I missed one light over here. Let me cut this. Clean up the cables. Alright. So we've separated it out. I definitely have two different colored cables right now. I'm going to keep them separate in case I want two different networks. So now all of the purple is all on the same sort of isolated network and does not have power. Now before I go any further, hunger caution takes priority. I don't want to starve. It'd be kind of silly to go as far as I have in this series and then starve at like day, I don't even know what day it is. It's pretty far. That'd be pretty bad. Alright, these consoles I can destroy later. They're sort of inconsequential. And they're not really disturbing anything at the moment. They're just sort of floating there, all happy-like. This does make it a little bit easier to operate the lights. There's no longer a switch, which I will never remember to toggle. Which is a really good thing. Now I have to decide where I want a frame, because I'm got to put down some logic. So, yeah. Let me think. Ideally, I could have it be here. I'm trying to think of the ramifications of having it be here. Because I'm probably going to leave it permanently. Let me just sort of brainstorm on that. So these frames here are going to get removed. So I'm just going to remove them now. Eventually it will be a wall piece. Yeah, so I could have it be here and it'd be fine. Because it won't be fully smelted. Yeah, alright, that's fine. Okie dokie. Did I grab my... Yeah, I grabbed my APC. Good. So here's the thing. What I need to do is tap into this green here, which is the elevator's level. So I'm going to install Logic I/O to grab the to read the level of the elevator. So here's my reader, and I'm going to point it like this, so that the data output points away from the network. Then I'm going to, let's go ahead and color my orange cables green. And then what I will do is actually wire this reader into the power grid of green, which means that this reader here will be attached to the green network, which benefits me on all the other floors. So let's scroll here real quick. Elevator shaft, and then let's read elevator level. Turn that on, and as you can see, elevator is on level 3. Level 3 happens to be the Atmo level. Alright, that's good. Now, on this same network here, this same green level, let's see. I also want there to be memory. And let's label these now. So this will be elevator, logic reader, elevator level.
Light off.
And this will be
On.
logic memory, elevator floor 3. Turn that off, put it away. All right. So this little logic here, where's my screwdriver? Ah, there it is going to be set to 3. All right, that's done. Now, I need to tap into this, some purple power. This purple power will do. Has to be active. So the idea here is that it looks something like this. We have, here's our APC. Let's crowbar that open. As you can see there, I'm not even going to have a battery in it. So this will be a corner piece. And a straight piece. And this APC is going to sit between, it's basically going to sit between power that's coming out of the transformer and all the things that I want controlled. And then this will act as sort of the switch to everything. And we are going to control this switch with logic. So the next thing I want to do is a logic writer and a math compare unit. There might be an easier way to do this, but this is just the way I'm going to go ahead and do it. I need to place these somewhere that's not going to be blocked. So I might actually move that memory. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to have to relabel and all that, but I can put the memory over there, and that frees up some space. So coming out of here is the elevator level, and coming out of here is the level, the number 3. I feel like the count. So what we're going to want is a logic compare that takes those 2 inputs and outputs whether they're equal or not. The issue, of course, is, what is this red cable here? This is for my solar logic. Alright. Because I am running out of real estate for these logic I/O. This might not have been the best place to place it. So what I'm going to do is... Ooh, let's not huck that too far. Let's put that away. I'm going to set it up on the wall here, which means I have to knock down a wall and set up a frame temporarily. Totally fine. But yeah, this will open up a lot of real estate for me to work with. That'll be good. And it will be temporary, it won't be jutting out like that. I'll eventually put the wall back. And this is probably what I'll do on all the other floors. So, here's our logic compare. And we'll do a logic writer as well. Alright, now, that's set up, This logic compare is going to have to be powered on into the purple network that is pre-APC. I know this is getting a little confusing. So now that compare is plugged in, and all this jazz here can also be wired up to the same network. This is definitely more cables than I need, but I'm not short on copper, so I might as well just wire it all in together. Big old wall patch panel thing going on here. So this logic writer is going to take the input from the compare unit and then write to this APC of whether or not this APC should be on or not. So that's sort of the deal here. And this is some of the messiest wiring I've ever done, but it'll work. So this memory needs to... both the reader and the memory need to feed into the compare unit. How about I just do it like this? And then this is all wired up. Good. Messy as hell, but it will function. And that's really all I care about. Let's finish off my potato. Alright, so let's set this up. First thing, let me remove the frame behind it. Because I don't need the frame anymore. I just needed to be able to place the logic stuff. And that seemed like good real estate. So, in replacing the wall, I need to make sure that it matches up. Like that. There we go. And now, you have no idea that there's logic behind that wall. And as you can see, that logic doesn't block anyone. So let's set up the memory again. This memory will have to be the logic memory elevator level 3. And it will have the value of 3. And this compare is still 3. So this compare unit will take the logic reader elevator level and the logic memory elevator level 3 and see if they equal to one another. If they equal one another, the state will be 1. If they don't equal one another, the state will be 0. So let me prove that. So now they will not equal one another, and this state will go from 1 to 0. And it has. And then let me put it back. And this will go from 0 to 1. And then this writer here is going to take the input from the compare unit, which I have yet to label. Logic compare level 3. Yeah, that's good enough level. So it takes logic compare level 3, outputs to, again, haven't labeled it yet. Needs to output this to error power controller, lights, and monitors. Maybe Atmo? Atmo lights and monitors. That is, let's do APC. Alright, output to APC, and then whether it is on or not. So, as you can see here,
Light off.
we got one light that's not on. Let me fix that.
Light on.
Yeah, I hadn't actually plugged that one in. So basically, if the elevator's on the 3rd story, which happens to be our Atmo because our basement counts as story level 1, what will end up happening is the lights and the monitors for that level will turn on. And then if we're not on that level, they'll turn off. This doesn't really work for multiplayer, but it definitely works for single player, and this is a single player run through, so voila is all I have to say about that. So now, as you can see here,
Light off. Light on.
let's go up a level.
Light off.
As you can see, the filters remain on, the door controls remain on. These won't affect the wall heaters or anything like that. But let's say we were in the elevator and we call it back down. Doink! Everything turns on. Except for... oh boy. All of those monitors here have been reset. That makes me sad. Oh, right. Because they get separated from the network.
Light on.
Let me see about this. I totally sort of forgot about that. Yeah, so the issue here is that the NO2 tank is on a separate network, so I'm going to have to fix that as well. Alright, so that means ripping up some floors. Oh, my beautiful floor. At least when I place these back, I won't have to reorganize the direction and whatnot of the geometry. Alright, so that means that some of these cables are going to have to be cut again. Let me put these floorboards away, or whatever, steel plates. So that means that this purple tank data needs to run to the other network. I have sort of two purple networks, one that is always powered and one that is sometimes powered. This needs to cut and be plugged into the sometimes powered network, because now they're separated, which means that this gear needs to plug into that side of the APC, because basically the monitors can't find the tanks anymore. So I'm going to remove all the cables from the tanks for a moment, and then I'm going to have to rewire them. Sort of unintended consequence of this, this nice fix. But, you know, worth doing. Alright, so we're separating out tanks from filters. And then I might need more cables for this, but we'll see. I'm almost positive we'll need more cables for this. So what we need to do is to run everything on this side of the APC down. And start wiring up these tanks to them. So all these tanks are going to be on the you know, the same network. So let me just work on that. And we'll know it works when I just complete this side of the cabling. All of the monitors above these tanks should not be NAN, which is the error code. The other problem here that I just realized, I don't want to wire it like this, so let me fix that, because this is, of course, the ceiling of our crafting room, and I think dangling cables probably look bad, so let me wire it along the wall like this. I'll look a little bit less ugly. Always reworking, right? Come on, junction. There we go. Honestly, I think my jetpack is a tool that has been I've used so much. Alright, let's raise up the level of this. You know how I feel about running cables in frames. Well, actually this frame is... yeah, this frame can go away. I don't need this frame anymore. Let me get rid of this frame. And this frame. And this frame. And then the frame here can stay because we have stuff placed on it. It would kind of look weird if it floated. But it won't, that frame here won't affect our crawl space because we can always move on the other levels. Alright. I'm definitely going to need some more purple cabling. So, before I continue, let me just start printing those up so I don't have to wait. Come on, let me through. I really should break down those monitors. Cable coil. Alright, I gotta remember we're running with that because I'm gonna have a lot more than I want if I keep that going. Running around along the edge. Oops. I had the corner set up. There we go. Alright, and then, like magic, all of those now read their proper pressure data. I haven't done the other side yet, but, yes, that is how we'll do it. Alright, so all this tank data, there it is. Gonna run out to the wall here. Add a purple cables. In fact, let me just grab one so I don't have to re-dye it. How one cable makes all the other cables the correct color, I don't know. I used to say that color was contagious. That's a weird but effective way of thinking about it. Did I make 50 perfect and even? Wow, alright. I'll take it. Success wherever it can get. Alright, so of course, yeah, this was a bit of a destructive project, but a pretty cool one. And we'll apply the same logic to all floors. And I already have the elevator reader. So I don't need to make another elevator reader. I just need to make the compare and write for each floor and the memory and the APC. Okay, well, yeah. Alright, let's see here. We don't want to connect it to this here, so how do we get around that? How do we connect these two tanks together? Alright, so that's tank data. Let me just rewire this. Oh, I see. Because of the pipes. Nope, that's not going to work either. I want to find an elegant way to do this. So this purple can... yeah, I can't go through that. least I can wire up all the tank data. You know what? I could maybe make a vertical run up to the monitors. That's what I'll do. That's probably the least ugly. Come on. Let's go corner. Alright, means getting rid of these cables. Alright, a vertical run up to the monitors would look... let's do the vertical run here. So, we're going to have to hide some of it behind the window panes, but that's alright. It's not a network that will ever get overloaded or anything.
Light off.
Alright, I don't know how that looks.
Light.
Oh, it's
on.
perfect. Done. And now it all works beautifully. And let's test this. This is what it would look like. Let's say we were up a floor.
Off. Light on. Light off. Light on.
Oh, gotta turn off the jetpack.
Light.
And then it just illuminates. Let's do that one more time, just so that you can see the effect. As soon as the bottom of the elevator changes floors, that's when it gets turned on. So, boop, everything turns on.
Light off.
I really like that idea. So, it was a daunting project, I'm not gonna lie, but one I definitely think is worth doing if you have your own base. Hook it up to elevator level. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Put all the floors back.
Light off.
And let's go ahead and break these consoles down and put them away. And then we could start setting up. The bottom level we could wait, because the bottom level we aren't really worrying about that much. So all these power control circuit boards, obviously... Ooh, well, I'm not going to need now, just because we designed it a bit differently. So now we have switchless lighting, I guess, is how you could put it. And then, of course, if we change elevators, all the things turn off. So if we're not on the floor,
Light.
there's really no way to keep it lit,
Light.
and that's by design. And then we call it back down,
Light off.
and everything turns back on.
Light.
Big seal of approval for me. Yes, big seal of approval. Okay, so
Jetpack.
it is somewhat involved. Let me just go over it again. We've got the reader that reads from this Vitals network, which is green, that I keep separate. So I have this powered on from the Vitals network, just the reader, because it's easy to do that. And that way, this data... Actually, this data won't be available. Well, the problem is this data from the logic reader isn't available in the green network. So I'm probably going to need a reader for each level, which is less than ideal, less than I wanted. So actually, let me redesign this a little bit with that in mind. Hook it up like this. Data. Let me clean up these green cables that are now strewn about everywhere. Alright, really, honestly, I could just... Man, there's so much extra cabling there, but whatever. Are we ever going to need the data port? No. Actually, it is easiest to just do it like this. Alright. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like that. I'll even keep it on the power input here. I will have be purple then instead. But the data input obviously has to be green because the data is only on green. So, yeah. We're going to keep the logic reader off of the vitals network. But then... Yeah, okay, yep. Alright, let's hook this back up to elevator. FE shaft. Okay, there we go. And level. And now... turn this off. Atmo, logic, maybe logic reader. I'm going to rename these things. So, Atmo, Mem, elevator level 3. Atmo, logic reader, elevator level. And then Atmo, logic compare. Atmo, logic writer, lights, and monitors. And then I'm just going to start it off. Atmo, APC, lights, and monitors. All right, that should be good. That's a little bit more less nonsensical. All right, so the input here will be Atmo, logic reader, elevator level, and Atmo Mem elevator level, and whether they equal one another, and then we're all set.
Light off.
And just to make sure I haven't screwed anything up, lights turned off, and lights turn on. Beautiful.
Jetpack on.
Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do this for all floors, which is awesome, right? Yeah, if we want the same setup, we got to replicate, which means more work. So let's go smelt this frame. And we can set up the floors above us to behave very similarly. You know, with the smelted frame for all the logic. And another thing I should do is replicate the wall knockout. Honestly, we could probably just put all of the logic on a wall if I was efficient about space usage, but I'm just going to replicate what we have in the floor below because it's faster. So frame there. I can't put a frame here because of this wall here. That wall has logic behind it, but alright, now can I put the frame down? Yes. So once you've proof of concepted it on one floor, it's obviously going to be a lot faster for me to implement it on the other floors. So what I'm going to need is, I do have, what, one I/O already? Yeah, I already have my logic reader. Alright, and let's go print up 3 more IOs, and 2 more memories, and 2 compares. Ooh, but this pipe prevents me from getting through. Does it really? Oh well. Alright, so we need 2 writers and a reader, so that's 3 of these logic IOs. 2 memories and 2 math compares. And 2 APCs.
Light off. Light on. Jetpack on.
Alright, that's the 3rd one. 2 memories. And as I'm standing over here, I might as well do some cleanup. Now we're going to have some extra consoles that I might melt down or keep, see if I need them. These power control circuit boards, I'm obviously not going to need. So let's grab the memory, let's stack them. And I'm not going to set up the bottom floor yet. So, processors, 2 processors. Ah, I was pretty hungry. Alright, so there is all that I need other than the fact that I'm almost certainly going to additionally require cables. Alright, so we had a logic reader, and then we have memory. I can put it here. And memory here. And then I didn't make my APCs, but we have the writer on the bottom. This will have to be a little different because I don't have a top spot here. So let's put the logic reader like that, I guess. I can always move it if I need to. Alright, so the compare and compare down here as well. Okay, sweet. Yep. That green pipe is going to be a little annoying, but that's alright. So first things first, snip the cable so I can color everything green. Alright, so now the logic reader has input proper. This floor, my lounge floor, what was the color of the lounge floor? I don't think I've really wired anything on the lounge floor. I guess it's miscellaneous orange. But yeah, I'm gonna need to go make the APC. Oh, that pipe is gonna be the end of me. Ouch. Just flung myself. Should also probably cycle my airlock, but whatever. And manage my farm is what I meant.
Jetpack on.
Alright, so for this floor here, oops,
Jetpack on.
we've got 3 lights back here, 2 lights up there, and
Jetpack on.
I don't know. I think I've sort of decided not to change any of the LED, just have them always be on. So it's really just lights at this point for this floor. We're not gonna have anything else turned on and off. Maybe these benches too, I guess. Yeah. So here's our APC. And let's just drop this APC up there. And I'm just gonna solely focus on this floor. So this floor is colored orange. This is our like miscellaneous floor. This is, you recall, over here with our we've got vitals, miscellaneous, and HVAC. So we don't really have the 2 floors up here on separate networks because they don't really draw a lot of power. There's not a lot that, there's only some lights on these 2 floors that are gonna need to turn on and off. Hydroponics doesn't require a lot of power, nor does my lounge. I guess the lounge will require a little bit more power because it will have those benches and whatnot, but it's not going to require that much. So what we need to do is we need to tap into really the closest orange that we can get to. So there's orange that is, let's see. This orange here is live, and this is going to the lights. So I'm going to need to cut these orange cables out, meaning that these lights, I should keep the door. I guess the door can lose power too. It doesn't really matter. That door is never really supposed to close because it would prevent airflow. So it doesn't really matter if the door is powered or not. Alright, so all those... Oh, but what doesn't is this... This is the battery, yeah. What should not be cut out is this IC logic, because what would end up happening is this isn't updating over there. None of that logic is updating. So that needs to stay powered on all the time. So the power for orange is coming out here somewhere. I'm definitely going to have to excavate a little bit, which is always a messy problem. No, orange goes up. Oh, I didn't know that. Alright, so the power comes out there. Then it goes to... Oof. I should not have started flooring this. I didn't realize I was going to have a project of this magnitude. Alright, so let's snip all of the cables that go directly to lights, because they're going to need to be rerouted. I think that's how I'm going to handle this. So this is live power, but this is a light. So light has to get snipped. And then this light has to be on a separate network. So this is live power, right there. Part of me just wants to start angle grinding out the ceiling boards. So that goes south. That must go south too. Or down, I should say, not south. South has a very different meaning. And then this cable comes all the way around and then starts powering on the lights from down here. I see. So these do still turn on because this... And then I'm just going to make sure that this cable is not control of anything else that's important. So yeah, this cable here, before it goes to the lights, so this is one light, and then this is the other light. And that's the door. I don't think we'll ever have door data, but whatever. So those are the light, door, light, and then this light is going to be a little bit more annoying because it's up top, but we're going to have to run cables for that anyway. That's where that goes. So this here needs to plug in to there. So this cable, oh boy, this is going to be an ugly run, I think. Maybe it won't be so ugly if I could just run it on the right on the top here. Yeah, that's not that bad. Not bad at all. Because this has the battery data for the LEDs and all that jazz. And I kind of want to keep that on all the time. Alright, so now that's on all the time. Because yeah, if I set up these LEDs to change floor to floor, it would be a lot of work. It would be sort of a low-key prohibitive amount of work and not worth it in my mind. So this cable here is powered, and that power needs to lead over here to this input. Alright, that's sort of easy enough to do. I'll just have it run in the corner here. And it's also going to need to connect to everything else in this sort of like data closet area. So let's just start hooking that up. And this is what requires a ton of cables that I fully acknowledge are inefficient. I just don't care enough. I can always print up more. Usually people are like, oh, that's just a really inefficient way of doing that. It's like, yeah, I know. It's just also fast, and I don't have to think about it. Which really honestly comes with its own advantages, in my mind. There's definitely something to say about fast and simple. Let's go print up some more cables. Am I stuck? I am a little stuck. And while I'm doing that, I will quickly try to farm. Let's just assess. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Not looking too bad over here. Good levels of everything. Find it easier to farm at night so the plants don't grow in your way. If you want daytime or nighttime farming, you have to set up different hydroponics. These standard trays don't require a lot of inputs. They're very space efficient, but of course they don't grow at nighttime. Whereas the other ones are powered. And cycle out. Yep. O2 level in there is climbing, but not to a level that's going to kill anything. Alright. Thank you for the many, many cables. And once I collect these cables, that will be the end of this episode. So if you have any tips, tricks, feedback for me, comments about this build, comments about the elevator light controls, stuff like that. A lot of people had suggestions that suggested the elevator light levels, and I think that's pretty cool. But if you have any questions about the build or have ideas about increased efficiency, doing the elevator levels a little bit more efficiently, I'm not going to redo them. I'm happy with the way I did them, but if there's a better way to do it, I'd like to know about it. Not that I'll use it, but so that viewers that want to replicate this system can do it on their own. Drop me a line about that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later. Adios.